All right, and shout outs to Nate the Hate. We got a massive dump of Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo first party content to look forward to in 2026 and 2027, including a brand new Star Fox game that is apparently happening and a Ocarina of Time remake for the Nintendo Switch 2. So we're going to break down all of the recent news from his Nate the Hate podcast, but I want to stress to you guys, please go watch the Nate the Hate podcast. It is fantastic. He goes over what he knows, the Nintendo Direct timing, and all of that. I'm going to summarize some of the stuff here, but you have to hear it in his own words. So make sure you check that out. But we've got a lot of stuff to go over, and I want to hone in on these two big games with Star Fox and Zelda Ocarina of Time. But before we continue on, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2. All you have to do to enter is hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed, and drop a comment below. We are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 once we hit 150,000 subscribers, and it will be random. So the more that you actually comment and interact, the better chance that you have to win. Hit that like button, click that notification bell, and let's go ahead and jump right back into it. Summary of what he had to say here. Shout outs to Nate the Hate and Mr. Stealth over on Twitter for rounding up everything. Even though I did listen to the whole thing, this is a lot of the good news here. Then, like I said, I'll get into the bigger topics when it comes to Nintendo Direct, Ocarina of Time, Star Fox, all that good stuff that I know you guys want to hear more about. So apparently there's going to be no general Direct until about June or so, probably like June, maybe May. He did say that maybe there's going to be May, but if he hears more information, he'll let us know. But it seems about maybe June for the next big Nintendo Direct. There is going to be a new Star Fox game coming for the Nintendo Switch 2 this summer. Yes, 2026. New Star Fox game. Apparently that's happening. We had the Mario movie situation with Star Fox, and it completely makes sense that Nintendo would have Star Fox in that movie be seen by millions of people, and then have a game ready to go in the summer. Classic Nintendo setting things up, just like the Donkey Kong situation in the original Mario Bros. Movie, only this time we don't have to wait 2 years from the movie to the Nintendo Switch 2 coming and seeing Donkey Kong in his own game, brand new and everything. So awesome stuff there. Apparently this Star Fox game is classic style, the visuals are really good, and there is online multiplayer, and it could be revealed next month. Pretty much just an announcement, maybe on Nintendo Today or on Twitter, so look out for that. Now let's talk about summer 2026. A lot of games coming: Splatoon Raiders, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Rhythm Heaven Groove, and a new or potentially port of Nintendo Switch Sports. So that would be very in line with what I thought was going to happen. Summer 2026, Splatoon Raiders, Fire Emblem. That's all sounds like summer to me. I'm very excited for Splatoon Raiders and Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Those are great summer titles. I think that's going to help keep the momentum up in Japan and in the US. People love Splatoon. I think that's going to sell well. I think it's going to be a nice little addition to the Splatoon 3 that we already have. And this game is built specifically for the Nintendo Switch 2. So Splatoon Raiders, looking forward to that. Single player campaign with survival elements built into it. It's something different from what we got from the campaigns from Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, or even the expansions. Now this is something a bit different. Very excited. But Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is the game for me over the summer and falls right in line with usually what we see with Fire Emblem. Engage was a bit earlier, January, I know that came out, but usually with the big Fire Emblem games, that's going to be a spring or summer type of release. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, look out for that game, guys. A lot of the issues that we saw with Fire Emblem Three Houses from a technical perspective with the Switch 1 is probably going to be enhanced and fixed with the Nintendo Switch 2 here and the power of these systems. So very excited for that. When it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 editions, we could be getting updates to Pikmin 4 and potentially Xenoblade games, so look out for that. I would love to see Pikmin 4 come back with 60 frames per second in 4K. That game already looks beautiful on the Nintendo Switch 1. On Switch 2, it would just be awesome. Then, of course, the Xenoblade games, those need updates. We got Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition. Some people don't like the update there, but the 60 FPS is definitely appreciated. So Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 all need 60 FPS and better resolution, so I'd be completely fine with those coming as well if they did. Next up, another massive one here, positive or negative depending on how you look at it. No 3D Mario in 2026, but it is coming in 2027, and part of that was speculated on why that could be a thing, and it could be because of GTA 6. Not maybe because Nintendo has GTA 6 on the Switch 2, but because they respect Rockstar enough and know that they don't want to interfere with that. Now, Nate does speculate based on why Nintendo would do this, and he asked MVG in the podcast, like, what's going on? Do you think that if you had it, would you delay or not? And Nate thinks that it's just for polish. He thinks it's to make the game better and make sure that it's fine-tuned and great at launch, which I do think that if there's no 3D Mario in 2026, which he's saying, so I do trust Nate on this one. I think it's just to make the game the best that they can. I mean, obviously you don't want to run into GTA. I mean, nobody wants to run into GTA, but if Nintendo can somehow get GTA 6 day and date and get 3D Mario a bit later, plus Pokemon wins in waves for 2027, that is a killer end of the year to early next year. Hypothetically speaking, if GTA 6 does come out on Switch 2 day and date, which I don't think that it will, it's a possibility, but I'm not sure if it will, but I hope it does. So if it does, then awesome. But if they did, hypothetically speaking, GTA 6 to maybe Pokemon wins in waves before the end of March, so in the Pokopia time slot that we got this year, and then Mario in spring in the Yoshi time slot that we have for this year for May, that would be crazy because you end out the quarter with Pokemon and then you start the quarter strong the next quarter with Mario. So to me, that seems like that could be a very good plan and obviously huge for 2027 and keeping the momentum up. Now, the biggest thing that everyone wants to talk about here is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake. It is apparently real. It is coming in 2026 this year, second half, and it's going to be a remake for the Nintendo Switch 2. That is what Nate has said, and that would be crazy. Ocarina of Time, still to this day, despite not having as many reviews, so obviously it's a bit like, okay, it is what it is, but it's still the highest rated game of all time. It is revered by so many people at that point, and if you count all the emulation and what people played it, this has been one of the most played games of all time, one of the most popular games of all time. This is a big deal. If Ocarina of Time is actually a massive real remake with incredible Switch 2 level graphics, or even if it's in between like the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 level graphics, that is a massive system seller for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I need all of the people that do not like modern Zelda, I need you guys to step up and make sure that this game sells a lot of copies, which I do think that people will. People that remember the N64, they remember playing Ocarina of Time when they were growing up as a kid or a young adult. They remember the memories. And if Nintendo can tap into that nostalgia and modernize the game with quality of life features and make it a lot better, that is going to be really good. Yes, GTA is there, and I think that GTA will obviously have an effect on so many things, but people want to play more than just GTA. People still want to have other games to play, especially after they finish GTA or even before GTA comes out. This could be like an October game for Nintendo, and the Zelda 40th anniversary, which I talked about, where I think that we could see remakes, remasters, re-releases, Ocarina of Time would be huge. I think that would be an instant big holiday system seller for Nintendo. And if they were somehow able to get GTA announced or GTA on the system in 2026, that would just be like the cherry on top. I still think that Rockstar wants to put GTA on the Nintendo Switch 2, GTA 6, and I have a crazy theory that I will share in a separate video of just how there's connections right now at Nintendo to where GTA 6 could be for the system. And I'm not talking about the rumors that we've heard so far. There are actual real connections between Nintendo and Rockstar when it comes to development that we could see GTA 6 on the system. So we'll have to wait for that. I'll talk about it later because it's a whole separate thing and it's crazy. So let's get back to Star Fox. Then we'll get into Ocarina of Time a bit more. Star Fox is exciting to me for a few different reasons. One, because I love classic gameplay. Two, because Star Fox was the game When it comes to outside of Mario and Zelda back in the day on the Super Nintendo and the N64, Star Fox used to be right up there in top sellers. Now, it did fall off after the N64, but it fell off because Nintendo forgot what made Star Fox what Star Fox was, and it was almost like a direction that Nintendo was going, even with what they were doing and how they're developing it. Yes, Star Fox Assault is awesome and it looks great, but Star Fox had an edge to it. It had a grittiness to it. It was about the technological advance of the system that it was on, and it was about the gameplay that really made Star Fox engaging as fun. Some people say that, oh, rail shooters can't be exciting in today's day. And I don't believe that's the case. I think that rail shooters that don't visually look impressive aren't exciting in today's day. But if you have a rail shooter that's very impressive, that evolves the formula and looks incredible while doing it with online multiplayer, because apparently this game has online multiplayer, if you do that, I think that a rail shooter can do really well. And once again, it's supposed to have online multiplayer, which wouldn't be like a rail shooter. It would be some type of evolvement of maybe Star Fox 64's multiplayer or even Star Fox Assault's multiplayer. So if they can nail that, that would add that new edge to the game to get people to jump in. With Star Fox being a cameo in the Mario movie and way more eyes than ever on who Star Fox is, this could be a breakout like they broke out with Star Fox on the Super Nintendo or even on the 64. Super Nintendo, I think, sold around 2 to 3 million units plus with Star Fox, and then Star Fox 64 sold 4 million units plus and was one of the top 10 best sellers on the N64. So if they can do that, make the game look incredible, which Nate does say that the graphics are apparently incredible and it has online multiplayer. If they can do that, that's how they get Star Fox up to where it needs to be and gets people excited again. It's not just what Nintendo's been doing, it's something different. It's not just the Mario, Zelda, Smash Brothers, Animal Crossing, the stuff that we know are going to be the big system sellers and all that. And that's great. We're going to get all those games and that's awesome. But we're having something else and bringing back that from the dead. And I think that if they can get that done, that would be huge for the Nintendo Switch 2 this summer. And I think it would convince a lot more people than you'd expect to buy a Switch 2. Now, yes, it's not going to be the level of a 3D Mario system seller or a Pokemon or a Zelda. It's not that. But the variety of what Nintendo does, that is also important. So bringing back Star Fox, bringing back a classic IP in a really good way, to me, is very important, especially on the Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, let's get into Zelda. This needs to be done in a way that's very impressive. And I'm not talking about those Unreal Engine 4 remakes that we see. Those look whatever. This needs to be done in a good way that gets people excited to play Zelda again. The old school type of Zelda from the N64 and up. There needs to be quality of life features. There needs to be potentially new content added in. A one-to-one remake would be fine. If it's a great one-to-one remake with new visuals and it's exciting and people like how it looks and all that, that's awesome. And I think that would be enough for 95.5% of people out there. But me personally, I would love to see them add in a bunch of quality of life features and maybe like a new dungeon or two or something to help out with balancing and other things in the game. The world can be a bit more detailed, maybe in the Hyrule field and all of that. There's so many different things that they can do for it to be a bit more exciting when it comes to it. Now, and I know some people want a straight up remake of the game. And once again, if they did that, I would be fine. That's not a bad thing to do. Trust me, that would sell like crazy. But they've already done Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D, which is pretty much straight up the same game with just better graphics. And yes, the 3DS was a long time ago. Yes, you cannot play backwards compatible. Yes, there's no re-release of that 3D version of the game, but I think it would just go a little bit further and be a bit cool if they were able to remake the game. Make it a one-to-one remake. Make it to where you know if you've played the game, but also add in those quality of life features and maybe a couple extras, new things that gets people a bit more excited and gets people to say, oh, that's kind of new in this game. But Ocarina of Time, that's going to be huge for Nintendo in 2026. And I think that it would be big for the people that have been complaining and been upset. Where's Zelda? Where's this? Where's that? Finally, you can get something. And once again, a lot of people who really don't like the modern style of Zelda, this is maybe for you. a new Zelda game is not going to be ready anytime soon. I think it's still going to take at least another 2 years or so for the next Zelda game. So this can be the supplement for that. And we haven't really had any real big re-release outside of the 3D version of the game. It's just been virtual console releases or NSO releases. There's been no actual big new release of this game in any tangible way in HD. And I think that's what makes this exciting and new for so many gamers out there. There are so many new gamers that like Nintendo that did not grow up with Ocarina of Time, haven't played the game or barely played it. So I think this is going to be a brand new game for many of them. But what do you guys think about everything that we talked about here? I know there was a lot. Nate the Hate is usually spot on when it comes to things, so we've got to take him at face value until we kind of see everything. But when Nate says something, it's usually right. So what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.